This is the Enlightened Bros podcast. These two bros think they're intelligent enough to talk about stuff while you spend your valuable time listening to them. Their incredibly intelligent discussions include bro topics like action movies and violent sports, and enlightened topics such as the latest life hacks and geopolitical economics. Dustin and Justin have been friends since they met in middle school in the Midwest and recently moved to the Southeast. Now they're bringing their infinite knowledge to you, dear listener. Heads up, they drop curse words, so earmuffs, little ones. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram for more mind-blowing intelligence. Without further ado, here's your podcast.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for listening, dear podcasters. We are excited to be here on our, what did we decide? This is our fourth podcast? Numero cuatro. That's Spanish for number four.
Number four. Spanish for numero four.
Numero four. Mexican four. Tear down the wall. So welcome. We're going to talk about some awesome topics, including meat.
Meat. We're talking about meat today.
Meat.
The meat wagon. The
Meat.
bologna wagon?
Meat is neat. Bologna wagon.
Probably skip bologna. I don't think it applies to the meat topics.
I mean, it is meat.
Today.
It's assorted meats, all in one glorious meat.
Do you sear bologna, though? I suppose, yeah. You could.
You could, I guess.
don't do a lot of bologna eating.
No.
Eating
if I
or
eat
heating.
bologna, it's just like straight out of the Oscar Mayer package into my mouth.
Yes.
Haven't done that in maybe 17 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Been a little bit. I'm not, that just stays in the fridge of the past.
Right.
Don't open that door.
Past fridge. So we're also going to talk about design. Not meat design.
Not meat design.
Just
we could combine them. I don't know. Whatever. Design thinking, to be specific.
Design thinking.
Yep. And we'll get into it. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you haven't. It's pretty cool. It's cool stuff.
Y'all can choose which is the enlightened topic and which is the bro topic.
It's a whole mishmash.
Mishmash. Just kidding. Well, kind of. I mean, it's fine. Whatever. You guys decide.
You decide. Super bro. And then you guys may be familiar by this time. We're doing wild cards at the end.
Wild cards at the end, which we've got a new wild card format.
We do. It's going to be fun.
Our wild cards are always wild cards.
It's
we change the format every time, I think.
We do. It's more of a wild paper. It's not a card. It's wild paper in a hat.
But what is a card made out of? Right. Wild card. Wild paper.
Wild paper.
Well, let's do it.
Let's get into it.
Start us off with some meat talk.
Yeah. So I'm going to grab my notes here.
Remember, notes are okay. Googling is not. We are not Googling anything.
Negative.
We are noting things.
There are lots of different types. Okay, so we're just going to talk. We could go down all kinds of meat rabbit holes. Oh, okay. But you know
rabbit meat holes.
Oh boy. So if you were to cook that rabbit,
okay,
take it out of its hole and cook it, there's all kinds of different ways you could cook that rabbit.
Right.
Or cow piece, or chicken piece, or entire pig.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd deep fat fry an entire pig. That'd be a lot of fat in one thing.
I might try it.
Challenge presented, everybody.
Accept it. Tell us how it goes.
Yes.
Instagram, Facebook us,
yes.
Email.
That's the only way we'll ever know. So there's all kinds of different ways you can cook it, right? So we'll start with, at the top, the sort of basic roasting. You can roast something. This is good for big pieces of meat because it cooks for a long time, and it cooks the whole thing. You probably want a little bit more fat, a little bit more tenderness to the meat because this is going to dry it out if it's a thick piece of lean meat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have broiling. It's a little different than roasting. It's direct, heaty type of thing. And then you have barbecuing or grilling. Near and dear to my heart. Barbecuing or grilling.
Is it near and dear to your heart because it might cause a heart attack? It's near and dear to my heart because I can't pump my blood through my veins anymore. I eat so much of it.
So near to my heart. So near, so close. Kind of inside of my heart. I think I enjoy it so much. First of all, barbecue. You just feel some manly excitement about that just barbecue meat. You see a barbecue joint with the smoke pouring out the top. Super excited about it, you know.
Super excited. Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
I got delivered the other night, as we were talking about earlier.
Wait a second. You get food delivered to your house?
Yeah, every night, basically.
I can't believe it.
I'm good. Guys, I can cook, but
Yes.
normally I just deliver. I'm a man of convenience, okay?
You got to do what you got to do.
I delivered some barbecue. The spot will remain nameless because I think they're good. Just don't get them delivered. Zero barbecue sauce. I ordered brisket and pulled pork. No barbecue sauce came with it.
So
Now, when you go to the restaurant, they give you barbecue. Like
course.
hey, pick this one or the Carolina or whatever.
right.
No barbecue sauce came with it. I also specifically asked for extra barbecue sauce.
Oh, that's even worse.
So that's even worse. But
So-
okay, well, give me your take. If I
Okay.
get barbecue without sauce,
Yeah. It's
Are you eating it?
Okay, so yeah, I mean it depends, right? I mean the whole point of barbecue sauce is to reintroduce well, kind of the point is to reintroduce moisture to a meat that's been cooking for a long time.
okay,
Okay, so you know, you go back in history and you look at barbecue. Actually, let's get into that. Barbecue is thought to originate in the Caribbean, where the natives would cook meat over a wood smoky fire for a long time. Spanish settlers saw this; they called it barbacoa. I didn't research the history of that name, but
Okay.
it sounds neat. I believe
sounds
it.
Spanish for barbecue.
Right. Numero cuatro all the way.
Not an anthropologist, but
No, right? I love this. It's all coming together. We're going to talk about anthropology later. So yeah, of course, barbacoa, you know, has evolved into the word barbecue in English today. But in the southern U.S., you know, less wealthy societies would cook cheaper cuts of meat, but to make them tasty, they'd cook them for a long time. They'd use the smoke to add that flavor, and it was friggin' delicious, right? I mean, so you know, ribs. Nobody wanted the ribs. It's a bunch of bones and just a tiny bit of meat. You know, brisket, tough piece of meat. While you cook it with some fat on it over smoke for a long time,
right,
friggin' tasty.
really good.
So, you know, they took those lean cuts of meat, those cheap cuts of meat, maybe not lean, but cheap cuts of meat. People didn't want them. They didn't want the, you know, maybe the ribeye, you know. People are paying top dollar for the ribeye, but they aren't paying for the cheaper cuts of meat, the ribs, so on and so forth. And so these meats were smoked over a long period of time, but that can also dry it out, right? You want to try and, I mean, some of the best barbecue keeps it from drying out through that long, slow, and low cooking process. But just in case, because sometimes you have to control all of the factors in your little barbecue grill. Lots of people, depending on where you are, you know, they're gonna take a vinegary sauce and add it back to give you some more moisture in your dried out meats. They have a sugary or ketchup-y base, tomato base. They have mustard bases. So depending on the region of the country, they reintroduce moisture with those sauces. So you know, I've read, and you know, some of y'all can correct me on this, but I've read that you're a pretty presumptuous barbecue chef if you're not giving somebody the option to put barbecue sauce back with your meat, because you're like, hey, I friggin' nailed this. It is not dry. You're gonna love it. You don't need. It's kind of like salt when chefs don't let you have salt on the table, right?
Right.
It's sort of a similar concept, except maybe even a step further than just the salt, right?
So, like, basically all of Texas is presumptuous with their brisket.
Because they don't let you
They
put barbecue
don't
sauce
like sauce on their brisket.
on. Well, they better make it good, you know?
Right.
I mean,
Well, and a lot of places do.
yeah,
But,
but you're presumptuous.
yeah.
Yeah, good point.
All right.
So that's my way over thought out take on that.
I like it.
Thank you.
Is that all of the ways of cooking? Barbecuing?
Oh, no, we're just getting started.
Oh, cool.
Part of the reason that's near and dear to my heart,
Right.
like I said earlier, we're from Minnesota,
We are.
up north, where barbecue is hot dogs and dried out black charred pucks of ground beef.
Yep.
That's a barbecue.
Anything over coal. Yep.
Yep, that's a barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really understand this concept of like the whole food category of barbecue,
Right.
low and slow with smoke,
Mm-hmm.
until I moved down here. I got that like you could get barbecue ribs at Famous Dave's in Minneapolis,
Right.
but I didn't quite get like there's this whole community around it. There's this whole process,
Right.
So now I've done some of it. I've enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I do too.
You know what I was thinking about when we were talking about barbecue and what we thought about barbecue back home, and now we know this about barbecue here. The event, a barbecue,
Right.
that's an event completely different than the food category barbecue.
Oh yeah.
If I'm having a barbecue, it certainly does not mean that I'm smoking ribs for 6 hours.
Right.
I'm having people over.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully a grill is lit up. If you have a barbecue and you don't light up a grill, stop it.
Communist.
Get
Yeah,
out.
Get out. Right.
That's un-American.
Un-American. Get out of our country.
Get out.
Go back to Canada.
Build the wall around them wherever they are.
Yeah,
That's what we should do. Idiots. So you gotta light up a grill, but that's a barbecue.
Right.
But cooking barbecue, completely different thing.
Totally different.
I don't know. Like if we get into it, we could probably research the actual etymology there and like how that, this versus that. The verb to barbecue.
Yep.
Barbecue, the category, the event barbecue.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna just throw this out there really quick.
Do it.
You guys can fact check this later. I'm gonna go with this. In Minnesota, it's way too effing cold to slow cook anything outside. So we just like grill it till it's black, and then we eat it.
And then we
like pour ketchup and mustard and relish and peppers, coleslaw.
I'd say that
sauerkraut.
I'd say the time of sauerkraut. I'd say that the time of year you're doing it is probably more the mosquitoes than the temperature.
Well, I mean, yeah, probably true.
Which are bad here too, but
right.
Deal with it. You know what I forgot to mention?
What?
We have 2 categories. If we have a little family tree of meat cookage, 2 categories: dry heat and wet heat or moist heat.
I like the second.
I know. That sounds suggestive.
It does. I'm sorry. We're talking about meats.
Talking about meats, you can't help it. So yeah, of course, roast, broil, barbecue, or grill. Those are the 3 different types of dry cooking.
Okay.
You got pan broiling. You throw a pan under the broiler, or whatever.
Cool.
Stir frying. Everybody loves a good stir fry. Gotta put some eggs in there. Better be rice.
Eggs, veggies, rice.
It'd be a little weird if you just stir fried meat alone.
Yaman-yaki? Lemon-yaki?
What does that mean?
I don't know. There's a wing place here in Atlanta, I think, that calls it hot lemon-yaki.
Oh, lemon, pepper, and teriyaki.
Yes.
And hot.
It's good.
All 3 different types.
Yep.
Jeez. That's smart. You could say it's enlightened. Probably. And then the final, and this I don't get, and I didn't read into it. I probably should have.
Yeah.
But deal with it.
All right.
Deep fat frying is a dry heat cooking method, according to the American Science of Meat Cooking. Or something.
That's baloney.
I agree. I was
What?
just like, what,
How is that dry?
How's oil?
Like literally you dip it in oil. Oil's not dry.
Mm-hmm.
You pull it out and there's oil seeping from it. It burns your hands, your mouth if you go too quickly.
I know.
And you put it on a paper towel, you can see through that paper towel.
That's not dry. That's a weird kind of dry in my book. I don't know. Let's take it up with them later, probably. I don't know if we're going to solve it today. We can't Google it, so.
Cooking scientists, we're coming for you.
We're coming for you.
We're very high powered.
This is the Colbert bump. This is the Enlightened Bros takedown or something.
Yeah, I like it.
We're coming for you.
We're coming
it's all
for
over. Well, those are the dry heats. The dry heats. It's like cooking in Arizona. It's a dry heat. It's a dry heat. Now for the wet heats.
250, but it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. Cook it 250 for 6 hours, but it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
It's dry heat. You won't feel it. Not a bit. And then we get into the wet heats, the moist heats. And they say these are better for less tender cuts of meat. There's the braising, the stewing, the simmering, and then a little bit more tender a little bit more tender side is the poaching. I've never thought like, I can't wait to cook a meat in a liquid. You know what I mean? Right. I want to get a good friggin' sear on it. I want it to be crispy and salty on the outside, and nice and tender on the inside. You know, if I just think about it like a perfect steak,
Right.
You know,
Right.
So you know, until I got a cookbook a while ago that sort of lists out all the different types of cooking, I never even tried it. I wasn't like, oh, let's try braising chicken or poaching something in some liquid. And now, you know, I mean, you got to experiment with stuff,
Right.
to see if you like it.
Right.
That's what she said.
Yep.
I mean,
About the meats.
about the meats. I've really started to enjoy cooking with somebody, and it's really good. It's really good. You
Yeah.
know, like I don't know, braising chicken or simmering chicken in some stock or wine, or I don't know. Now I'm sounding really pretentious, but we're enlightened. I guess we can do that.
This is the bro topic, but but you decide. Maybe it's enlightened.
Yeah,
Who
who
knows? But no, I like it. I mean, I just revert back to my super simple carnitas recipe that I use, which is you sear it, a little bit of a dry cook, and then you throw it in a slow cooker
Yeah,
with some chicken stock,
totally.
and it's a wet
Oh,
cook, but it's so good.
that is good carnitas.
A little beer in there, maybe.
The seasoning helps. You
Seasoning is good.
crank it up. Dustin, well, actually, why don't we add a link or add the recipe for your carnitas on this
We can do
show
that.
notes? Look in the show notes for Dustin's carnitas recipe because
Show
it
notes.
is legit. It's really
Super
good.
secret. You have to listen to this to get them.
Boom.
Boom.
Password is
Password.
our website.
Oh, our website, I mean.
That's where you get it. You got to type our password, which is the website, into the URL bar. It's
Yep.
really,
Super
really
secretive.
tricky.
Like a cool speakeasy. So trendy.
So trendy. You gotta type it in. Well, so those are my cooking methods.
Well, I like it.
Yeah,
Um,
I like it too because it's meat cooked.
I love meat. What I was going to do is I'm going to come at you with some of those cooking methods. These are just kind of like some tips, I think, that are just general good tips. Pretty much for no matter how you're cooking it,
Yeah,
you can probably apply these tips. There's 5 of them.
you got 5 wicked tips.
These are your 5 tips for better meat,
Mm.
to make your meat better and more desirable.
Oh man.
All right. So number 1, if you're going to be searing your meat, okay, so you want to make sure that your meat is dry before you sear it.
Yeah.
Basically, what I'm saying here is that the science behind it is for the meat to actually sear. If you throw it into a pan, 1, you want your pan to be hot at the temperature that it has to be hot.
It's a part of cooking.
Hold your hand over it. If it's hot and you can't hold your hand over it for very long, great, you're ready to go. Pan needs to be hot. Okay, second piece is the meat has to be dry. So the meat, if you just take, let's talk steaks, for example. If you buy a steak from your local grocer and you take it out of the thing and it's like dripping red juice that we all look at and we're like, that looks amazing.
Gross. Amazing.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I want some blood.
Oh yeah,
with
yeah.
my
You want it to
steak.
have
Like,
some.
oh yeah,
It's gonna be juicy meat.
I'm gonna put my steak in there. I'm gonna pour that over. Don't do that. Take the steak out, dry it with a paper towel. Just dry the surface of it until it's just kind of a little dry to the touch.
Yep.
Then throw it in there. Because what happens is if you put it in the pan with the juices,
No sear.
no sear, because it has to cook off all those surface level juices before it can sear. You're not gonna lock in as much flavor. It seems counterintuitive,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and this is gets me every time. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I throw my chicken in there or a burger. You know, if you formed your patties and you let them sit for a while, you throw that burger in there, or definitely steak. You know, I forget that you want to dry it off. I often forget, and then I'm like, where is? You pick it up and you're like, it's brown.
Just brownish.
It's brown, but it's not.
It's not a sear. And how long did it
Crispy,
take to get
delicious.
that sear? Because the longer it's in that pan,
Right.
the more moisture you're losing out of the center
Out
of
the
that.
entire thing.
Right.
Ah,
So
dry
for a
it
good
off.
sear.
Just dry it off with a paper
dry it
towel.
off, paper towel. Just blot it dry. Okay. The second tip is that once you're done cooking your meat, you have to give your meat a break to let it rest.
Yeah.
And basically, the reason for this is that the majority of the juices are lost in a meat when you cut right into it right after you've
Right after.
cook it. You pull it out of the pan, You slice right into it, whether it's a turkey, a ham, a steak, a pot roast, whatever it is.
Ostrich meat.
Brisket's a great example.
Brisket's a great example.
If you've ever smoked a brisket, you throw it in a cooler because you want to let it rest.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I've learned this the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because I'd say over the last few years, maybe it's just because I've gotten more serious about it, you start to read this or see this, you know, and they're saying, don't touch it.
Right.
Pull it off the heat. Don't touch it for at least 10 minutes, right? 10-ish?
10-ish.
15? 10,
Yeah. So actually, that's a good point. So basically, the amount of juice or moisture lost in the piece of meat is basically a half-life every 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So if you cut into it immediately, you're going to lose a bunch of moisture. If you wait 10 minutes, you're going to cut that in half.
Yeah.
If you wait 20 minutes, you're going to cut it in half.
That's crazy.
Right now, it depends on like the temperature of the meat. You want to make sure your temperature is good. It's still going to be hot.
And you showed me that book. What is it? The
Science of Cooking.
Science of Cooking. Mm-hmm. And they had a little visual about each 10-minute period, and it showed you how many juices came out of the meat.
How many ounces of,
How many ounces, and it was crazy. I mean, check it out. Sorry, we can't show it to you.
Yeah, visual aid, go buy the book.
Show notes. Go buy the book.
Yeah, it's like legitimately a half-life of, and I don't know if half-life's the right word. I'm not a scientist. I'm just talking about meat here. But basically, it cuts the amount of moisture in half every 10 minutes you wait that you will lose in moisture, right?
That's
so
it.
You wait 30, 40 minutes, you're going to lose very little moisture.
Hey, if it doesn't sit, you must acquit. And by acquit, I mean throw the meat in the garbage because you ruined it.
And basically what happens, you just try to visualize a cross-section of meat. When you cook it, it comes from the inside, and as you heat up that meat, it goes to the outside of the meat.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Then you let it rest. It's going to go back to the center,
mm-hmm.
right? So that's why you let it rest. You retain that moisture. If you cut right into it, the moisture just pours out of the meat. And it looks great. You can take an Instagram picture of it, but it's not going to taste as good.
It's not going to be as delicious.
All right.
Cool.
Third tip. Leave the bone in your meat.
Oh.
Meat with a bone is better meat. Everybody knows this.
I know. And yeah, I know. I mean, sometimes.
You should know this.
Sometimes. And I do a little bit from experience.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes you want the quick stuff. And hey, you're not trying to make an epic meal. Maybe if you're, there's we do steak without it, some chicken. But that bone is just next level.
It is next level. And so here's the thing. I'm guilty of it mostly with chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much anything else. Maybe a steak every once in a while I'll buy without a bone.
Yeah.
But pretty much anything else I'll get bone. Pork shoulder, bone in.
Nice.
I don't know. Beef, I want bone.
When you do your carnitas, do you get bone in?
Bone in.
Because it adds that flavor.
Bone in. Remember, we talked about it.
We did. That's right.
You made it. I said, you have to get bone in.
We couldn't find it.
No.
We went bone out.
It is. It can be a challenge to find sometimes certain cuts of meats with the bone in. I get it.
You got to be at the DeKalb Farmers Market, man.
DeKalb Farmers Market, bone in all the time.
It's a giant. It's not even a farmer's market. It's the biggest grocery store on earth.
It's huge. It's huge.
Mark our words. We didn't Google it.
No, we didn't. We just went there a few times.
And it's huge.
It's huge. And all the meat can have bones in it if you want.
Probably. You just tell them.
You're like, can I get that salmon with bones in it? And they're like, okay. Here's a live salmon.
Here's an entire live salmon.
You have to kill it before you leave.
Can I go pick my pig? I want the hock off that pig. I need that pig snout for cooking.
We're not talking about like a bird riding on a pig's back.
Talking about.
If you thought we were talking about a bird off a pig's back, just before you listen to the rest of the podcast, go Google what a pig hawk is.
What food is? Google food.
Google food. Google the word food. Okay, so talking about the bones, right? So here's why bones are important to leave in your meat. One, the connective tissue that they have provides a lot of juiciness to your meat. Okay. The bone marrow and the sodium that is in the bone is going to make it more flavorful.
All right.
Right? That was a long time to say bone marrow
is delicious.
plus sodium equals flavor.
There's some
Shocker.
restaurants. There's some restaurants that do bone marrow, like just
straight
a bone
marrow.
with a marrow.
And I guarantee you they cooked meat off that bone and then sawed that bone in half and cooked that bone marrow.
Yeah. Neat.
I don't know if I guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure that that's what they did. So basically, that provides the flavor, and the connective tissue provides the juiciness.
Yep.
Here's it. Some scientists did this,
Science.
or some guys. I don't know.
It could be okay.
But basically, what they did is they took a big helping of mashed potatoes,
Yeah.
and they added 8% butter
Uh-huh.
and 1% salt
Uh-huh.
to mimic basically the makeup of a cut of pork,
Oh.
per weight.
I was going to say, sounds like delicious mashed potatoes, but
Does sound like delicious mashed. I would eat those mashed potatoes.
I'd eat them.
Then what they did is they took the two batches and they put a pork bone
Yep.
in one batch and they cooked them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other one they just left mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes, butter, salt.
And what the results were is the majority of the tasters could taste meat in the mashed potatoes that were cooked with just the bone in it.
Yeah.
There was no meat in it, nothing. They just put a bone in the middle of it, cooked it, pulled the bone out. They could taste the meat in the mashed potatoes.
That's crazy.
The other batch just tasted like mashed potatoes.
That's crazy. And so that's why when you do like a stock,
Mm-hmm.
a meat stock, you don't even need the meat in there. You just put the bone. That's why everybody
Water
buys.
and bones, yeah.
Why people buy bones, and
Right.
you can literally buy ham bones or
Right.
pig bones or.
If you make like a legit chicken noodle soup, you're putting like the whole chicken in there.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
And you just chicken and water,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit of seasoning in there. Boil that, cook it, pull
Yep.
the chicken off the bone, put the bone back in.
Mm.
You can have some awesome chicken stock.
Mm.
So yeah, bone in,
Bone in
100%,
all the time.
all the time.
Enlightened bro rule.
Don't take it out. Although again, I do like take it out of my chicken all the time. I just get chicken breast because it's fast. Whatever.
Yeah.
Shame on me.
Yeah, you're not shooting for restaurant level.
Right. So to that note, to the lean meat note, this is basically if your meat is lean, you should brine it.
Oh.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the reasoning for that is that salt will move from the higher concentration, which is the brine,
Uh-huh.
to areas of lower concentration, which is your
The
meat.
meat.
Right. So basically all this is doing is
Brine.
it just gives your meat a more consistent flavor.
Brine your meats.
Brine your meats.
Brine
Gives
your
it more
lean
consistent
meats.
flavor and moisture. Chicken, turkey,
Mhm.
maybe some cuts of pork.
I've started to
Leaner meats.
Yeah, I've started to marinate my chickens, because we're trying to eat healthier
Right.
in our household.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to get part of the reasoning for chicken thighs, for instance,
Right.
have more fat and more flavor. They're really good. I love chicken thighs. I love them. Sorry, I like dark meat more than white meat.
Yeah.
Um,
Dark meat's good.
Dark meat's good. However, we want to eat healthier, and the chicken thighs, are not as healthy
Right.
for your, whatever your body as a chicken breast.
Right.
But also, I can't stop eating the damn chicken thighs
Right.
because I'm just like, well, I might as well have 8 for dinner.
Yeah.
But a chicken
Why not?
breast, I'm like, oh, that was good, but I'm done now.
Fine. Yeah.
So yeah, I've started marinating a lot of chicken breast because of that.
Yeah.
You gotta eat healthy, man, but it's got to taste good.
But it's got to taste good.
It tastes good.
Otherwise, you won't eat it.
No.
Okay.
I'm a baby.
Brine your meat. No, I'm the same way. Everybody's the same way. That's why we all eat cheeseburgers. Like,
Totally.
they're freaking good.
Totally.
All right. Number 5. This is your final tip for making better meat.
Just the final tip.
Just the final tip. So when you're grinding your meat, when you're grinding any meat,
Yeah.
right? Mostly we think of like
Burgers.
burgers, like beef, turkey, maybe
Turkey
ground
burgers.
turkey,
Mm-hmm.
right? But when you're grinding it, it's best to do it at home. I know this is not super realistic. I don't even think I have a meat grinder.
You know what though? You can use a food processor,
Food processor,
which I
works.
have. Do you have one? You got to get one.
I don't
get
have
you
one.
Let's pick you one
Should
up
get
today.
one.
Uber
Generally,
now.
like
Uber Eats now.
Uber Eats now,
Amazon Prime now.
food grinder.
I've done it in a food processor.
Postmates will deliver anything.
That's kind of weird.
Like you can go to Urban Outfitters. Well, you don't even have to go. You can just be like, deliver me some hipster T-shirt from
Yeah.
Urban Outfitters.
So is that why
Deliver me a Yoda lunchbox from Urban Outfitters that I paid twice the price for.
I know. Is that why they're so expensive? We ordered dinner.
Postmates?
Yeah, we ordered dinner from Postmates the other night because Uber Eats wouldn't deliver it from the restaurant we wanted or something like
Yeah,
that.
they have like preferred restaurants that they charge less for.
It was so expensive.
Yeah.
$60 for
Whoa.
like 2 meals.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
my bad.
I mean, whatever.
It's a fancy night in.
Fancy night in.
Fancy date
Gotta
dinner.
have them sometimes.
Ugh. Yep.
All right, so when grinding your meat, do it at home. And then
What if I want to do it at the club?
Yeah, you can grind your meat at the club.
That's where I get my grind on.
There ain't nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
It's
Your meat.
a terrible joke.
Terrible fat joke.
Worthless.
I mean, it's fine. We're talking about meat.
Yeah.
Meat on meat. Okay, so then once you have ground that meat, when you cook it, and I think you mentioned it earlier about barbecue in Minnesota.
Yeah.
A barbecue,
Yeah, barbecue.
right, is basically burnt ass hot dogs and burnt hamburgers.
Oh,
More burnt hamburgers.
Don't you know?
Don't you know? Well, here's what you need to do to prevent that. Is
I'm
you
listening.
need to cook that ground meat on a flat iron
Oh.
or a cast iron skillet.
Why do we grill burgers at all?
We shouldn't. If you want to use your grill, throw cast iron on there. Throw the ground meat into the cast iron.
Well,
It's going to save all the juice in your burger,
because it doesn't drop into the
which
coals.
is why you like to eat burgers.
Is this because it's ground, the connective tissues or the fibers aren't holding the liquids in?
Actually, you nailed it. So the reason you grind your meat at home is because, so grinding your meat at home, when you grind it, what it does is it releases what's called these sticky proteins, which is what helps bind the meat together, which is
Okay.
what helps keep some of that juice in there,
Yeah.
right, with these sticky proteins.
Uh-huh.
So the longer it's, after you grind it, the longer it sits, the less those sticky proteins adhere. Okay. And so the longer it sits ground,
Yeah.
sticky proteins are gone,
Uh-huh.
or going away. And then if you cook it over the heat, the sticky proteins just like it sears together. It seals together, but it's not the sticky proteins that are holding it together. It's just all evaporating. All the moisture is evaporating.
Wow.
It's falling into the coals. You cook it in a flat iron. Cook it on a flat iron. You know, some people have those fancy kitchens with the flat iron on the front.
Yeah. Not this guy. I wish I did.
No, I don't either. But I do have a cast iron, which everybody can afford. It's like $15.
It's the only pan I use.
Do it. Cook some bacon in it.
Yeah.
Boom, ready to go.
Totally.
Or just burgers. Just cook burgers in it.
Yeah.
It'll be the best burger
Dang.
you've ever cooked at your house.
I like it.
Yeah. Do it.
I'm going to start doing burgers in my dang cast iron then.
I know. I contemplated if it wasn't a Monday today.
Mhm.
Today is a Monday
Yeah.
for all of you that are listening on any other day of the week. I was thinking about like grilling, like
Yeah.
getting ground beef.
Yeah.
And grilling,
Doing that. Then.
or not grilling, but like cast
Cast ironing.
ironing some burgers. Maybe making some Juicy Lucy's, you know, throwback. And this, like, guess what? If you go to Matt's Bar in Minneapolis,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't throwing that shit over like some Burger King
No, griddle BS.
thing with
No.
some grill lines in it. No,
Nope.
it's a flat iron grill.
It's a griddle. It's like
The best hamburgers you ever have tried, I guarantee, are cooked on a flat iron grill.
Okay, so first of all, let's just throw in a plug for Matt's Bar in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Go get your Juicy Lucy there. It's where it started. If you've heard of Juicy Lucy ever, don't pretend that they started it.
They made it.
5-8 Club in Minneapolis also thinks they made it. Fine if they did.
They innovated it,
Matt's
maybe?
perfected it. No.
Yeah. No?
Matt's if by innovation you mean made worse by doing
Just
several
changed.
combination,
They just changed.
Anyways.
They just put different cheeses
Funny
in
you
it.
mention innovation.
Okay.
But before we get to innovation,
Yeah.
let's hit those 5 tips all in a row.
Here are just the tips.
Just the tips.
Number 1, for a sear, dry your meat. Number 2, let your meat rest after cooking it.
Yep. Keep that moisture.
Number 3, leave the bone in your meat.
Mmm.
It will be more delicious.
It's more delicious.
Number 4, if you have a lean meat,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you brine it.
Mm-hmm.
And number 5, last but not least,
Mm-hmm.
maybe actually most important,
Mm-hmm.
is when you are grinding your meat, do it at home and cook it on a flat surface like a flat iron grill or a cast iron skillet.
So it's like actually just take our advice and don't grind anything anywhere but at home.
Right.
No grinding at the club.
Nope.
No grinding at work. That would be really awkward.
Don't do that. You will probably get fired.
Get fired. Grind everything at home.
Yes.
You know what I found interesting there? All 5 of those
Yeah.
had to do with moisture management of your meat.
That's what it's all about.
It is. It's flavor.
All about moisture management
It
with
is.
your meat.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like my
Whether you're cooking or you're doing anything else.
That's all.
That's rated.
Yeah, boy. Wow.
Let's take a brief break for just editing purposes.
Just got that out right now. It's kind of like my thermodynamics of camping. Like camping,
Thermodynamics.
having a good camping trip is all about managing your thermodynamics.
Right. Like sometimes you have to let the bacon grease in the pan catch on fire to cook your eggs faster. Thermodynamics of camping.
That's great.
Sometimes you have to wrap a towel and a rain fly around your hand to be able to get the skillet out of the fire. Thermodynamics. This is like a whole separate podcast we do.
It really is.
We need to go camping and write these down and then come back with them.
Cooking good meat, we'll just go out there and say it. I don't care what Elton Brown says. Cooking meat well is about managing the moisture of your meat.
Yeah.
MMM.
And I bet you Elton Brown says the same thing with
Probably.
a lot more words and science.
Mostly all of the science.
Yeah.
I love
If
it.
you guys hate science and you just want words and just the tips,
Just the tips.
I mean, you got them. We gave them to you already. So
Yeah, you got them. Well, I guess we'll take a break.
We'll take a
and
break.
then we'll come back.
We'll be so enlightened when we come back.
Cheers, everybody.
Hello, dear listener. We hope you're enjoying this episode. Please do follow the Enlightened Bros on Facebook and Instagram. I know I do, and I can't get enough of their witty posts and incredible wisdom. And pictures of steak. Good God, the steak. How much steak do they eat? Anyway, on with the show, and thank you for listening.
Hey guys, quick public service announcement. On the break here, we're Star Wars geeks to the core, down to the bone, right
Down
into
to
the marrow,
bone marrow.
right in the marrow.
Wow, took the words out of my mouth.
Wow, it's the theme today. Right. Okay, so we're huge Star Wars geeks, and we're coming up to episode 8. It's coming out in December. We're really excited about it. The Last Jedi. Star Wars The Last Jedi. What does that even mean? We'll talk about it later, because we're going to do a Star Wars themed Enlightened Bros episode. We're going to release it around the November timeframe leading up to the release of episode 8. So we're really excited about it. And you could say, Enlightened Bros. Well, you're plenty enlightened. But why do we need to listen to your Star Wars podcast? I'll tell you why. I know that we've got, I don't even know how many different Star Wars podcasts out there.
A lot.
They're talking about all kinds of stuff. We are ultra qualified because Dustin owns a hand-me-down bed, basically a hand-me-down from Lando Calrissian
That's right.
himself,
Yeah.
Billy D. Williams.
It's in my guest room. You guys can rent it out.
And we're not even kidding. Lando Calrissian's son owned this bed, which was a hand-me-down to one of our friends who just went off on a cross-country trip to go see the world.
Right.
And now Dustin has it.
I do have it. And if you look closely, you can actually see Han Solo in carbonite. I'm doing it right now,
I can see it.
but y'all can't see me if you're listening. I put a mattress cover over it because it was freaking me out.
That's right. So anyways, y'all, true story about the bed. True story. We're doing Star Wars / Last Jedi themed episode in November. We'll hope y'all listen. Hey guys, we're back from the break.
Yeah,
Thanks. So
we're back.
We gave you our 5 tips. We mentioned our Star Wars episode coming up. I know you're more excited about that than we are, probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you're truly enlightened.
I can hear you guys listening, and it sounds like you are way more excited about that than us.
So yeah, we talked about our moisture management meat tips, and now we're going to talk about design thinking. And it's going to get serious here.
Yeah,
So this is my idea. I really like design thinking.
I do too.
I
I do
love it.
too. I don't know if I'd say I was in architecture school. I took some classes on it.
Yeah.
I really am into this kind of stuff.
Big architecture.
I nerd out huge on architecture. And in fact, I really like just design in general because a lot of it is the same philosophy.
Right.
Whether we're talking graphic design, whether we're talking designing of structures, if we're designing your everyday household tools.
Shoes.
Oh my God, shoes.
Shirts. Roads. Roads.
They're all along the same line.
I love how you talk about it. The idea of design playing a part in our everyday lives, you know, designing a city, designing a shirt, designing a building, because that's kind of, course, where this all started.
Right.
Okay. Right. So, but today, the concept of design thinking, and I'm coming at it from a business approach. We're using it at work and trying to use it to build better processes in projects. It's become a project and product design methodology. It's kind of been around for decades, but it's really getting popular now.
Right.
And it represents a multidisciplinary approach to human-centered projects. It leverages research and rapid ideation are some of the tenets of it. And I really like it because I'm design-minded.
Right.
You know, if I sit down and, you know, what am I trying to really accomplish something? You know, you want to figure out what you're trying to accomplish before you get into it. And I think so many times in business, we sit down and we say, we got to do X, Y, Z. How do we do it?
Right.
Not how do we best do it?
Right.
Sort of like before you decide what restaurant you're going to, Google best restaurants, right? How do we best, you know, build a loyalty program, or how do we best get somebody to do something, or how do we best make something that works for somebody?
Right.
At the end of the day, I think we're all in work that serves someone. This concept of design thinking has really gained popularity recently. You'll find a lot online about it. But if we go back in history and just talk about design in general, because this is where it all came from, you go back to the 1960s and design really came into popularity on its own. You know, I mean, if you think back to, I don't know, maybe chairs really sucked before somebody said, let's design. I mean, they had to have a plan to put together sticks to make a chair at some point. Right. But then they started thinking, how do we best make a chair? How do we make it serve someone's needs much better than it used to? Right. And so they're really trying to solve problems more effectively for the human. And when you talk about starting to design in the 1960s, this is one of the histories I read, it really resonated with me. You think about those funky chairs from the 60s, like you've got...
the Eames Lounge.
Yes, I was just going to say that. The Eames Lounge chair. Man, that thing. Still.
If you haven't sat in an Eames Lounge...
Do it.
It's
amazing.
You have to pay like $15,000 to buy one to sit in it. Or you can go to like a vintage shop and buy one. Or you can... Don't buy a knockoff, but like...
Yeah.
Maybe go sit in a knockoff. I don't know. It's close.
It's close. Or the Barcelona chair. I've been to Barcelona and sat in the Barcelona chair in Barcelona, designed by there's a
Max Weinberg.
The Max Weinberg Center. They all designed the chair. That's how great it is. Sat in this Barcelona chair in Barcelona, and then I looked at the wall and there was a sign that says "Don't sit in the chair." I felt pretty good about it. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Special.
Suck
unique.
It, Barcelona.
Suck it, Barcelona.
Welcome to America.
Welcome to America. Only we're still in Barcelona as I sit in that chair. So we go through history, right? Back in the 70s, they're designing their balls off. You know, they're just design this, design that. Scandinavians started IKEA at some point.
Right.
And that's because the Scandinavians were really leading some of the design, the best design in the world at the time, right? And they're still really good at it. Let's skip a bunch of history because I really want to get to the design thinking part of it. Yeah. In 1991, a design firm named IDEO is formed out of a three-way merger between three other design firms. I'll come back to IDEO in a minute because they're big here. Then in 1992, a guy named Richard Buchanan tied the process of design thinking to innovation and how you can innovate using the design thinking principles. Right. So it's not just about designing a chair, it's about innovating in an industry. And he said something to the tune of, design really has no subject matter. You know, you were just saying earlier at the beginning of this segment, roads, houses, shoes, shirts, cars, you know. He said there's no subject matter, which makes design thinking a very powerful discipline. It can apply to anything.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward, most design firms hire people to design that have experience in design.
Most firms hire, if you're a graphic designer, they're going to hire you because you have graphic design experience or you have coding, whatever.
IDEO is, at this time in the 90s, hiring people from all kinds of different disciplines. Hiring from academia, hiring from business strategy, and so on and so forth. And so they're building this design firm and this design consulting firm around bringing in a diverse set of backgrounds to really build better, just like we said at the top, better projects, better products, all kinds of different better design applications.
Right.
Well, doing this, bring all these different backgrounds together, they start winning all these awards. Okay, so they're now doing all this crazy stuff, winning all these awards, and this has really helped design thinking gain a foothold in the business world.
Right.
Because back in the day, like we said, you're designing things. Now we're saying, why can't we apply these concepts of research and figuring out what people need, making it very human-centered, and figure out how to apply that to your project or your product that you're building. Now we've got business schools teaching it. As a matter of fact, a young coworker of mine told me about an assignment he did in college just not too long ago, where he did an emotion chart of his experience going to a sports game. So if you're trying to design, let's say you're a sports team and you're trying to figure out how to better create an experience for your fans and your clientele, someone could go do this, and they say, well, super excited, I got the tickets. And I couldn't wait. I was getting ready. I was putting on my jersey at home. Emotions were really high. I was having a good time. Maybe I had barbecued hot dogs with the bros. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then yum. And then we had it out.
Dogs.
Or maybe you're having your tailgate.
Right.
Emotions are high, and so you have this line chart. Your emotions are high. Then you go stuck in traffic. Emotions are low. You try to find parking. Emotions continue to be low. They get a little bit better when you start seeing where you can do this and this. And so you do this line chart. Right. And so there's a design thinking principle to say, let's really take a step back and figure out what the experience is, and let's map that emotion, right? So he did that in college. So nowadays, there are lots of, and that's just one tiny piece or approach that you can take in going through a design thinking process for a big project. There's a lot of different ways you can attack it. But I've kind of put together a list of steps that I've adapted from the IDEO handbook, which is online. Okay. You can buy it on Amazon, used, for $340. Oh. Or you can download it for free from IDEO. And that's what I did.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Seems like a bad business model, Amazon. Just saying.
And then you can print it out at work for free. You can, and work just pays for the color ink. You probably run through 2 or 3.
Yeah, don't tell work.
No, don't tell work.
But
it's like 190 pages. So I don't know if you want a physical copy, but it's got a bunch of great steps you can take. But they kind of break it into 3 main areas. I've kind of listed out 5 steps that I take when I use this process. So the first is research. Okay. Do as much research as you can in the time that you have. That includes secondary research. Go to Harvard Business Review. You just look for blog articles. Your peer-reviewed journals are probably going to be better. You get some scientific research, but just get ideas. Just consume information and learn, right? So that's secondary research. There's interviews. So you interview the people who are going to be using the process or the product or the thing that you're designing. Then you prototype. So you gather all this information. Sorry, I missed the next one. Brainstorm. That's a huge freaking part. They call it ideate. Ideate.
That's one of my strengths.
The verb.
Strength finder.
Ideation.
Yeah.
That's badass.
I'm ideating all over the place.
You sure are. Put that ideation away. But yeah, I enjoy that too. Just brainstorming. Why not? Let's allow ourselves to be a little stupid.
Yeah, there's no
Come
bad
up
ideas.
with some ideas. Yep. Just bring in some good ideas. Now you take all this, you brainstorm some ideas. Let's prototype. Let's pick some of the best. They have an exercise where you can go through and you can pick your 3 favorites, based on a set of criteria. And then you can start to prototype, figure out how you're going to build this first step, launch it. And then the big part is iterate. Because you've got to, if you're going to do the absolute best you can do,
right,
let's not just build it and walk away like most IT departments across the United States of America. Let's build it. let's see how people are using it, and now let's ideate and make it better. Obviously, you can't use this everywhere. You know, you could say some of the downfalls of this is it probably does take a little bit of time. Mm-hmm. One of the projects I'm working on right now, we're taking our sweet time. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a side project, so it's okay.
Right.
But, you know, if you need an answer today, sometimes they say perfect is the enemy of good. True.
Right.
But you can really do some cool stuff if you take your time,
mm-hmm.
go through these steps, and really use design thinking to build the best thing for humans that you can.
Right.
So yeah, that's a primer on design thinking.
I like it.
We could really get into it. Heavy.
No, I like it. I mean, I haven't, to be honest. I mean, I have never thought about design thinking in this way before.
Oh, like applying it to business.
I haven't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I go to work and I'm like, what is going to be the most profitable for us?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how I think about work.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be profitable to us, I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah, most people do.
Right? I'm not going to spend time on you if you're not profitable to me.
Depends on your business and your area of focus, I'm sure. Right.
Right. But there's, I'm even saying, like, I think we could get more efficient about how we make that money
mm-hmm.
off of those people that bring in the profits for us.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, we don't. We just, I don't know. We do a little
do what
bit,
you've always
maybe.
done.
We just do what we've always done, or we do what everybody else is doing, and
yeah,
you know, we follow our competitors, and
mm-hmm.
here we are. Boom, we make money, we do fine, and everything's fine.
Yeah.
You know, life is good.
Mm-hmm.
But we could go so much further. I think if we took a step back,
so what are we really trying to?
What
accomplish?
are we really trying to accomplish?
Mm-hmm.
And by defining that, we can start looking at, you know, okay, what is, I don't know, how do we get there?
Yeah.
What do we need to do? How do we build this business for the future?
Yeah, let's get
all
fucking creative.
Right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I've always thought about it as design thinking to me has always just been about, and it's still pretty all encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still design thinking. I mean, think about everything you touch every day.
Yep.
Right? And an example here is if you go out and you watch the documentary Objectified.
I got to see it. I haven't seen it.
Used to be on Netflix. I don't think it is anymore.
No.
Yeah. Come on, Netflix. Bring it back.
Come on, Flix.
Hashtag @Netflix.
Come
whatever.
on, apostrophe Flix.
Apostrophe Flix. Objectified is legit. Basically what it talks about is the objects we use in everyday life.
Yeah.
And how those have, like, how we're constantly designing those to get better over time.
Yeah.
A great example that they use in this documentary is the peeler, right? Like in a kitchen.
Yep.
The hand peeler.
Carrot peeler.
If you think back to your mom's peeler, or sorry, dad's, whoever, whatever, not to be sexist, whomever's, your parents' peeler was a metal thing with a peeler part. And then the peeler, the blade of the peeler was attached to a metal rod that went through. And then there was this metal, like, flat, like handle. Ribbon, but it was like a 2D thing. And you grabbed onto it and you peeled a carrot or you peeled a potato or you peeled whatever.
Yeah.
It was like painful to hold.
Yeah. So, I remember that thing.
Right. Back in the 60s, 70s, right, when it was primarily, and again, not to be sexist here, but it was primarily women doing all this. The women were like, F this. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks. Like, this peeler sucks. This company, OXO, I'm sure you're familiar.
Yeah.
Sold at Target, Walmart, all the things. They do all the kitchen utensils now.
Yeah.
Started design thinking. Started doing research.
Yeah.
They literally just took the peeler that you're used to,
Yeah.
right? The metal one we just talked about, and they just started sticking random handles on it.
Mm-hmm.
They designed hundreds of different handles.
Yeah.
And just put different handles on it and peeled 100 carrots.
And yeah.
And they came up with the one that they have that's kind of cylindrical, but like oblong.
Yep.
Right? It fits in your hand very nicely. It's rubber. It's got the little, the pointer finger and the thumb thing with the
I know
with
exactly
the grooves
what
in
you're
it,
talking
right?
about. Yeah.
So you can grab onto that and you can, you can peel the shit out of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All day, every day.
All about design thinking. That was their product.
Mm-hmm.
They launched the peeler, and now they have the garlic press. They have knives. They have spatulas. They have
oh my gosh,
everything.
And they're huge. They're
huge kitchen line.
As a matter of fact,
if you have kitchen utensils, I guarantee one of them's OXO.
Yeah, I definitely have one, and I always felt like that was sort of like the cheap Target brand, or a cheap Target-ish brand.
Yeah.
But knowing this, like, and I know that they're legit now, but back in the day, I thought they were kind of that cheapy brand.
Right.
Knowing that now, like, it's so enlightening. you know, I mean, like the fact that they did this and they did it to the max, and they said we're gonna we're gonna fix this, and we're gonna build a friggin' company out of making the carrot peeler better.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yep. I mean, they do talk. I think they talk about and it's been a while since I watched this documentary, but they do talk about being not a kitchen utensil company, but a design company
I love it.
that is trying to make kitchen utensils better.
Yeah.
So when I think of design, that's the kind of stuff I think about when you bring up,
Yeah.
chairs. You're talking about chairs used to suck, and then chairs came out. I think about that. I don't know who the designer was, but they made that chair that can't fall over.
Really?
It's a curved. It's got like a little bit of a curve to the seat. It's got a curved back, and then the legs. It's basically just two pieces that look like U's that are crossed over, and they kind of just extend out a little bit from the seat. They're not straight down. They're extended out a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, if you tried really hard, you could tip it over.
But it's not going to happen.
But if you sit with all four legs on the chair,
Yeah.
and you wiggle or you put your
Huh.
you throw back or whatever, you're not gonna
It won't fall over.
you're not gonna tip it over.
I like it.
So design thinking
Yeah, man.
makes everything better.
And so my thought is, if you're listening to this and you do stuff at work and you run and you create projects, check it out. Just check it out. Just read about it. It'll give you some ideas about how to hopefully, possibly. I don't want to make any accusations here that your projects aren't the best friggin' things that have ever existed. However, there could be some cool steps in the design thinking process that you could put to use.
Try it at work.
It's pretty cool.
Try it anywhere.
Friggin' anywhere.
Try it. If you have a project at home, trimming the hedges maybe,
Yeah.
or I don't know,
Watching football.
watching football. Well, I could probably use some design thinking. Like, it could be better. But if you just think about it and you brainstorm and you test these ideas, stuff can get better. Okay, well, should we take a break and then wild card action?
We'll take a break and go wild card.
Wild card.
Wild card.
Wild card, bitches.
Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
This time, we wrote down some things. I wrote down 5 things. Justin wrote down 5 things. And we put them into a hat. You want to go first? Just draw one out?
Sure. So I am reaching into the hat, ladies and gentlemen. All right. What is this one? Oh, nice. You're an asshole.
What does it say?
It says bikinis or one piece on women.
Oh, yeah. How do you... I mean, okay, so there's
You're a
this
dick.
thing. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we have to go bro and we have to go enlightened. This is obviously a bro topic. And there's this thing going on right now.
Yeah.
It's the One Piece Revolution. Have you heard of it?
No, but I believe it.
I mean, it's self-explanatory. It's where chicks are wearing one pieces
Yeah.
because they like them better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie. Like, some one pieces out there are pretty hot.
Mm.
They look pretty good.
Yeah.
As a man, I prefer bikinis on most women.
Sure. That's the thing.
But what about you? You have to pick one.
Oh, man. Well, I'm a man.
Right.
I get that one pieces are neat.
Yeah.
And I support that. And I
Very
love
fashionable, yeah.
it. You know, if you're flipping through Instagram,
Bikinis.
they get more likes. I'm just going pure social media.
We're marketing guys, so it's obviously bikini.
All right, you pick one. Isn't my handwriting?
Guilty pleasure music / band.
Oh, yes.
This is a great one.
Yes.
Recently, I've been really into like pop country, like current country.
Yep.
So really what my guilty pleasure song is Body Like a Back Road by Sam Hunt.
I don't even know what that is, but I'm going to have to check it out.
You should. What about yours?
Gotta be Katy Perry. It's gotta be Katy Perry.
I don't think I've heard this song.
It's so good. You ready? Here it drops right here.
Oh, this is a banger.
Right?
Oh, I've heard this, yeah.
How can you not love that? All her stuff is endlessly playable for eternity. Just on repeat.
I mean, that's pretty safe.
Yeah.
I thought this was your handwriting.
But
It's pretty bad. It's mine because mine's worse. Brown or clear liquor?
Oh, I've started to go clear.
You've gone clear.
Vodka. Give me vodka. Give me a vodka soda, man. Yeah, I don't feel terrible if I've been drinking vodka all night. You know, if I'm going drinking. Give me vodka soda. Sorry, I'm boring. Is it my
Yeah,
turn?
I'm still
what are you?
brown.
Brown?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like drink a ton of liquor. I'm a basically beer till I die kind of guy.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Okay.
Okay, this is one of mine. Lamest superhero.
Oh, I think it's the Flash.
Oh yeah, he can run fast. Neat.
So can Usain Bolt or
Yeah.
Usain Bolt or however you say his name.
Yes.
Like he can run really fast, fastest human on earth.
Fastest.
Guess what?
Yeah.
He's not a superhero.
I know. Yeah.
He's
Flash is
rich.
boring.
Seriously, like I don't know how Flash was created. Hit by a lightning bolt, and you could run as fast as lightning.
Yep.
Would you just run around trying to save people, or would you make a ton of money running in the Olympics?
Well, obviously, I'd save people.
Yeah, me too, totally.
Yeah, totally. It's just save people's lives and stuff.
Save people's lives and then run in the Olympics and make them.
Maybe Aquaman.
Oh, he is also very lame.
Oh yeah. Oh, you can swim and you talk to animals. I
He
can't
can
wait for
breathe
you.
underwater.
I can't wait for you to defeat Doomsday and Lex Luthor
Or Jaws.
or Jaws. Where were you? Where were you in 1974?
Right.
Aquaman.
We need a bigger boat.
We
Or
need a-
Aquaman.
We need a bigger Aquaman. More
Hint,
like
hint.
it.
I bet Aquaman couldn't even beat Jaws.
Probably not.
The shark like to eat anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So those are not the most fun superheroes. DC, you suck.
They're both DC.
Mm-hmm.
Common trend here. You know what else? Who else I don't like? Green Lantern.
Yeah, I don't really understand the whole thing.
He's got a
It's
ring,
and it
from
makes
outer space.
and it makes anything.
Pretty much.
Genius. Well, how did they think of that?
I don't know.
Maybe there's a reason that movie sucked, Ryan Reynolds.
Seriously.
You drawing one now? Yeah, draw that.
I think so.
Pick it out.
Automatic driving cars. Or yes or no?
Oh yeah, sure.
Really?
Well, this is a wild card. If we want to make it a real topic, let's get into it. but
Oh, okay.
but yeah, no, I think so. No, really, no, I'm kidding. Yeah. I mean, all kinds of other automation is going to ruin this world. So why not enjoy the driving cars for a little while?
You know, there's already like autonomous driving semis. In the
I
world.
saw a video of it. I didn't.
They can like
know.
link up like trains, and it's more energy efficient for them to go.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
If you could be one place right now, where would it be?
Oh man,
I like this one. You could go anytime.
I think right now, I don't know. So like at the top of my travel list is like Chile.
Nice.
I want to do like Santiago, Valparaiso, which is like a beach town, Easter Island, Patagonia, which would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. No
But
kidding.
it's winter there right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if right now I'd want to be there.
Yeah, you can do it on time. You could anywhere, anytime.
Oh,
That works.
well then I'd do it there. It's
Yeah.
in their summer.
Okay. I would probably do Montana. We're talking about going there.
Yep.
I'd do Montana, spring or fall. Got a nice crisp in the air when you get up in the morning.
Like you have to wear a sweatshirt.
Oh, you got. I want to wear a sweatshirt the whole time. Maybe we almost go winter.
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, man, I miss sweatshirts. Atlanta does not like sweatshirts.
Not favorable to sweatshirts.
All right, should we do the last one? One more.
Is this the last one?
This is the last one.
It's really random. Okay. Weekend trip.
Yeah.
You have a weekend trip. You have
Okay.
one bag to pack.
Oh.
Is it a duffel, a backpack, or a roller suitcase?
Oh man. Okay. Here's what I think. I think it depends on the trip. Obviously, it depends on the trip.
Okay.
If you're pulling a car right up to the front door of a house,
Okay.
then duffel, because I can
Oh.
pack a ton of stuff into the duffel.
Okay.
I can look kind of cool. I got a badass duffel,
Yeah.
badass canvas duffel.
Weekender. Yeah.
It's really great. Made in the USA. Big old duffel, and I can pack a lot of stuff in it. Yeah, I go duffel.
Okay.
If we're getting on an airplane and there's a fair amount of traversing on foot, I might want to go, even if it's a weekend, I might want to go a roller suitcase.
Really?
Yeah.
Backpack's last choice. When does backpack come
Gosh,
into
it
the
depends.
equation?
It depends on if you're traversing. Oh boy, when does backpack come into play? If I'm if we're going somewhere, we're also going to go for like day hikes,
Okay.
and I want to bring stuff with me on that day hike.
Okay.
Like let's say, or we're going on a boat. We're going down to the boat.
Sure.
I want to throw my trunks, my towel, my book, my phone,
Mm-hmm.
my knife, my goggles,
Right.
my binocs, my flint and tinder. I don't know. Throw it all in the backpack.
So you're
man.
using backpack for straight outdoorsy things.
I think so. So I answered all three.
Gotcha. I am on a pretty big kick of now my last weekend trip was to Minneapolis. I did not go this route because I was bringing a bunch of beer back home.
Yeah.
So I had to pack a duffel in my roller suitcase.
I like it.
Because my roller suitcase was a beer vessel on the way home and my duffel was the clothes vessel.
I like it.
But I like going just straight backpack.
Nice.
That 45 liter I bought,
Yeah. Biggin.
love it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
cool.
like put all your stuff in there. That's what you got.
Uh-huh.
Just right into the overhead. I mean, it's like,
And they let you bring that 45 liter on the plane.
Yeah, it's overhead
it.
friendly.
Dang.
So I'm a backpack guy for weekend trips, I think. Plus, here's the
Sure.
upside. You wear it through the airport, people are like, there goes a guy on an adventure.
I love it.
That guy's probably going to Europe or something cool.
Totally.
And here's a little insider tip.
Mm-hmm.
Just bring your passport, no matter where you're going.
You just hold it as you walk through the
Yeah.
airport. Hey, guys.
You stand in the TSA line with your passport out, people go, oh, where are you going? You can say anywhere. They're not going to check your ticket.
This is like Vegas. Hi, I'm an astronaut.
You're like, oh, me? Antarctica.
I'm just taking some time to find myself. I'm going to be in Minneapolis for a weekend.
Be in Minneapolis for a weekend. We'll see what goes from there. Maybe I'll go up to Banff.
Oh, man.
Maybe Lake of the Woods where I can't really tell the borders from each other.
Me? I'm going to Savannah for the weekend.
Who knows? Maybe I'll drift out into international waters. Can never be too careful.
Can never be too careful.
That's why I carry 6 passports on me at all times.
I had friends who did a non-rev, like in the airline industry. They did a trip to Hawaii,
Ooh.
and they all brought their passports because they couldn't get flights back from Hawaii, so they flew to Japan to fly back home.
Nice.
Isn't that badass?
That is so ridiculous.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you bring your passport to the airport
Everywhere.
every time. There's a reason the word port is in both things. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
That's episode 4. We hope you like it.
Yep.
We hope you listen to our Star Wars episode coming up in November.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
It'll be an excellent
You'll
one.
get some great Star Wars things out of it. Insights, facts, opinions,
Arguments.
arguments, spoilers
If you
on
haven't-
old movies.
Spoiler alert. You know what I found out the other day?
What?
Darth Vader
No.
is Luke's dad.
No.
Spoiler alert.
No.
Stuff's insane. So we're going to have some cool stuff to talk about.
It'll be good. Listen with your ears.
And watch the road with your eyeballs if you're driving a car.
Yep. And when you have time to internet, Instagram and Facebook,
Yep.
our websites, our blog site,
Check us
do
out
that
there.
too.
Yep. All right.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Enlightened Bros podcast. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and follow Enlightened Bros on Facebook and Instagram.